I didn't think we were ever going to go live today, Carter.
I know it. Are you going to do the 30-second countdown thing?
I will. We're going to do the 30-second countdown thing if I can find it. Here we go. Be live on Facebook.
Yeah, it looks like we might have a problem. You want me to remove it and put it back?
Yeah, you want to go ahead and do that? You want to try again?
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie. You want me to end the broadcast and try again?
No.
No? Okay. So if you're there on YouTube, if you just hang on a minute, it looks like Facebook may be having some issues. So we're going to just kind of hang here a little bit. So did it look like it started over there?
Looks like we are now streaming to Facebook.
All righty then. Okay. Well, Facebook had a little bit of an issue this morning. So we're glad we're here. I know we are, we're competing with the big dogs in one of the industries we're in today. They're having a big business symposium. So if you're part of that group and catch the replay, we hope we do, because we're going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to talk about something that I think everybody, if you are online today, this is something that you need to know. What are we talking about? The Vicinity update. So if you're out there on Facebook looking at things, I see Chuck's with us today. Hey, Chuck, how you doing, man? Glad you're here. What would you think if I said, hey, Google did a Vicinity update? What do you think that means?
Well, probably like vicinity. I mean, I know what that word means. It means something close to you or, around you.
Yeah.
So I would guess that it had to do with showing search results for things that are near you or around you.
That's exactly right. The interesting thing about this particular update, Google's kind of been strange about local. I mean, they've done a lot of tools around local. They just upgraded, which we talked about last week, the Google Business Profile. They got that updated and making some changes there. But then they come along and they make this huge local update. So let me explain a couple of things. Google has several different algorithms, all right? Organic is an algorithm within itself. The Maps is an algorithm within itself. And local is an algorithm within itself. And local does include some of the maps, but the maps are also separate. So just understanding that there is a little bit of more going on than you might think, because a lot of times when people say, oh, Google update, everybody thinks that it's all across the web, Google updates everything, and that's not true. This is the largest local update from Google in the last 5 years. So I just want to make sure that is really clear. It happened around November 30th to December 8th. So let me explain this just a minute so that people kind of understand. When Google does this, they have something they call a rollout. So they normally will roll it out on the West Coast, and then it proceeds to go across and ends up on the East Coast. So I've got some people just clamoring at me. Hold on just a second. Sorry, guys. This is what happens when we're live. I got my staff going, we can't see you. So I know part of y'all are on me here. So you're on. So I'll just let them know that real quick so that they know. Not sure what's going on, but we're just going to keep going. And like Carter said, the real impetus of this update has to do with Vicinity. So one of the biggest things about this, and I'm fixing to go in the weeds here. So Carter, pull me out if I need to be pulled out now. I mean, it's just like because I can get really deep into this mess. So what you have to remember is the whole local algorithm is set up, and it's really set up for brick and mortar. So there are service business companies that do have brick and mortar shops, but there's a lot of service business companies that are not brick and mortar shops. They're either in their homes and they run their businesses out of their homes. There are also a lot of them that have their businesses are really kind of right outside or some way outside of where they actually serve. So people have said, well, how is this update going to affect me? Well, there's two things it's going to affect. The biggest one is it's going to affect where you have your business as opposed to where the searcher is. Okay, so those two things. So I'm up in Cottontown, Tennessee, which is north of town. Carter lives in Nashville, Tennessee, about a 45-minute drive from me. He is right over by the airport. So when he searches the same thing in his area as opposed to what I search in my area, we're going to get two totally different searches. And they're based on two things. They're going to be based on where we are searching, where our location is based on where we are searching, as well as where the company's location is. So up here in heating and air, we have, there's probably 20 heating and air companies north of town. There are two really big ones up here that are everywhere in Middle Tennessee. Excuse me. Lee Company is one, and Hiller is the other. And why do I see them up here is because they have additional locations up here. My guess is if Carter were to search where he is right now, because they have locations all around Nashville, and they are permanent locations. They're not fake locations like a lot of people put online. They're permanent. That they probably come up in the 3-pack and in the local pack on the search. So, I've had people tell me, well, I don't understand. Why does Google do this? Don't they understand that I live outside my service area, but I can drive in because I'm going to people's homes? Yes, Google knows that. The problem is this was never set up for that. And so they spend a lot of time trying to figure out the best way to do it for the majority of the people that search. So what do you think the number one thing is that people search online? If you think you know the answer, put that in the comments. And then I'm going to challenge Carter. Carter, what's the number one thing that people are searching for?
Seems like I might have known this at one point, but I think I've forgotten what I know.
Oh, we have a winner. Hold on. Do we have a winner? Let's see. Food, restaurants. Exactly right. Terry and Chuck, y'all get bonus points today. That's exactly right. The most searched thing online is normally through a phone, mobile device, for a restaurant near me, pizza, fastest pizza place, those kind of things. So if you look at it in those terms, then you understand why that makes sense. Google is pleasing the majority of searchers, okay? If you're going to go clothes shopping and you're not going to order it online, you may want to find out where the nearest tailor is, where the nearest women's clothes shop is, where the nearest shoe store is. So you're actually physically moving from where you are to the store. So Google wants to show you those things that are closest to you that you are searching for. And unfortunately, when somebody searches for a service, they're doing the same thing. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody of what the Vicinity update is, because they have made it tighter, if you will. They have really kind of dug into this is where you are. So, yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, so a couple of things popped to mind. The first is totally get it with restaurants and any brick and mortar location based business that I've got to get in a car and go to.
Mm-hmm.
I want something that's close to me, right? Reduce my drive time, reduce my hassles, reduce the traffic, all of that kind of stuff makes total sense. But if I'm having somebody come to my house, man, I really don't care if they're 75 miles away from me. If they've got the best reviews and the best, they're the company that I know I want to do the job and they'll come service me, then that's who I want to go with. It really, as far as like vicinity to me or close to me, doesn't really factor in my decision about who to call. So but I get why Google's doing it. Like, we've got to make a one size fits all kind of type thing here and make the most people, happy. But I don't know. I wish there was a different way.
Well, but that brings me to the next point. While vicinity is important when it comes to work on my home, I'm the same way. I don't care. I don't care where you live. You want to drive 100 miles. If I think you're the best person to come and fix my what's it, then come fix my what's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's where your reviews really come to play. Because here's what I also know. It's not just about, it may be about vicinity if you have a plumbing issue, if you have an emergency type service that you need somebody like ASAP. But when it comes to a service that you actually, need need your chimney serviced, you need an inspection, you need a sweeping, you've got birds in your chimney. None of those things are emergencies.
Mm-hmm.
And so about 80% of your customer base is actually going to go out and check you out. So that means they're going to be looking at reviews. They're going to be looking at the things, that matter. Here's the other thing that is really key, because I've had people say, I don't get any business from my website. I'm like, well, where's it come up? And he goes, oh, you don't even see it, but I get my business through Google Business Profile. Well, yeah, you should be getting about 30 to up to 50% of your business through the GPG. I'm going to get that. Google Business Profile, GBP. I just can't roll that off my tongue like I could the other one. Makes perfect sense. That you're going to get that because people are looking at that. And if you come up there and you have really good reviews and that they can check you out right there, makes total sense, right? So that's a really good deal.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You mentioned the reviews and their importance, and maybe I missed this, but are you saying that Google can tell where the reviewer is when they left the review, and that based on that, like, can tell where your service area is or what,
Well, the truth is, yeah, Google knows if you leave a review because you have an IP address.
Right.
There's locators on your phones. So yes, they know where you are, but no, they don't look at that and show you per that review. Okay. What I'm saying is if I go look for XYZ Home Service Company, okay, and I'm looking for let's take it and just say HVAC. Let's just take it in HVAC. I need somebody to come service my HVAC units. Okay. So I put HVAC service, Cottontown, Tennessee. And 3 people come up. Those 3 people, when they come up, now there's reviews sitting by their name. If I go and I check those reviews out, and maybe one's got 3 reviews and I look at it, but they're all a year and a half old or older, I'm probably going to go to the next one. And I'm saying this based on not my particular what I would do, but based on what the average customer does.
Yeah, totally get it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if the vicinity review might have something to do with, like, my business is located here, but I have a bunch of reviews that are clustered over in this area. And so Google knows that if somebody is doing a search over in this area, that this company here is one that services this area and gets a lot of popularity or whatever. So we should show that business in our search results.
So if you've set your Google business profile up correctly, you should have that area already in there without having to show reviews or whatever. But this is a caveat here. So listen carefully, everybody, because this is something that I have been reading over the last few months and seems to be making a difference right now. Will it make a difference long term? I don't know, but it seems to be making a difference right now. Encourage your customer to put their location in the review. Again, encourage your customer to put their location in the review. Now, there's also another thing. You need to make sure that on your website that you have some targeted pages that are in those areas outside of where your business is located. Okay? It's those targeted pages that can also rank on the organic side. And believe it or not, 30 to 50% of your business is still coming from organic results. There are a lot of people that skip through all that map stuff and go right down to the organic results and start doing research. So if you're 1, 2, or 3 in organic results in whatever area they're in, then most likely they're going to see you. They're also going to go over and check out your reviews. So, I talked to a company the other day who on Yelp, spectacular reviews on Yelp. Home Advisor, great reviews on Home Advisor. A couple other places, they were great reviews, but on Google, they had less than 4 stars. And it was because one, they didn't have a lot of reviews on Google, and one was a 1 star that brought everything down into that. So really encourage people to make Google a priority to get reviews on, because that priority, the reason that it's a priority is because when people search, that's what they're going to see. They're going to see that. So if you're right in the area and your next door neighbor pulls you up and you're right there and you've got a 3.5 stars, and the guy that's 10 miles down the road, that's the nearest sweep as you are, or HVAC or whatever, has a 4.7, who are they going to call?
Yeah.
So that's what you have to think about in marketing. Everybody always says it's always about being number one. I want to be number one. I want to be on the top. I want to be up there. Yeah, that's great. Be up there, but you better be competitive in some other areas. It's not just about being number one. Now,
Terry, I want to address Terry's comment here. She says, we get calls all the way from Los Angeles, 125 miles away because of our great reviews. And then she says, we have a 400 square mile area that is more than sufficient for us, and we don't want to travel more than that. But I get calls from people who demand that we drive further. How do I prevent those people from contacting me? So this is like the opposite problem, right?
Yeah.
I'm not getting people that are close to me. I'm getting people that are way further than I'm willing to serve. How do I eliminate those people from being, people that waste my time giving us a call?
So there's probably 3 things that I would check. So Terry, are you doing Google AdWords at all, or any kind of ad? Just if you can answer that question, that would be great. Just a yes or no would suffice, because that tells me there's one thing that may be going on. The second thing is you need to ask them, how did they get your information? That's really important. If they said they got it, on a search with Google in their area, then something on your website or on the Google business places is not set up correctly, and you're showing in places that you probably shouldn't show. So that's the other thing. So you're not doing ads right now. Can't keep up with the work. Yeah. If they're finding you on Google, then what I would do is go back to your website. You need to go back to your website and make sure that on your website, it's very, very clear what your service area is. That's number one. The second thing that I would do then is I would go on my Google business places and I would double check how that's optimized and make sure that you are not optimized in that area. The third thing, sometimes third party, and there's not a lot you can do about this, but third party players kind of scrape and put you in places that you have no control over, and sometimes they actually mismark you. Most of the time when this happens, though, it's because there's an ad network or an ad out there somewhere that is hanging out outside of your service area. And the vast majority of the time, what we find is people are doing Google AdWords and they have not correctly given Google the right information. So that's really important. But I would check those things. If organically they're coming up, there's something on your website, and it may be, and here's the thing, guys, it may be if you have on your website Southern California. So if you're a chimney sweep serving Southern California, then whoever's in Southern California may be picking you up and calling. If so if there's some regional things that people put on their websites and stuff that they don't understand, that Google also says, oh, well, this is the region that is talking about. And so you'll show up there. So hopefully that helps you. So I would go through your content and figure that out. So there's a couple other things I want to hit on that this Vicinity update also did, because the big one was the Vicinity and proximity. So we're seeing a lot of people that are now getting suspended in the Google business profiles. And for whatever reason, they're suspending very old, legitimate companies. And they could be companies that have chimney systems or chimney services in them, and they're looking at them as spammed listings, even though your name that's part of your name. And the reason they're doing that is a lot of businesses, especially in like locksmith, legal, they've gone in and totally changed their name to like, my business is now Best Divorce Lawyer in Nashville, Tennessee. That's my business.
.com.
.com, right. I mean, some crazy stuff like that. I've seen some really wild stuff. So just know that if you've got a really keyword-rich name that you've dominated an entire market, that you should have, we're seeing huge drops in those right now. There's some things that you have to do with Google. There are some, it really has to do with, I don't know how to say this. We have a direct line to Google, so it's hard for me to tell you exactly what to do. You have to go through the process on the back end so that you can communicate with Google, and they're going to ask you for your licenses, your business license, the correct name, are you a DBA or not? I mean, they're going to ask you for all these things. One of the things I got asked in the replay yesterday that I just answered today is, should we be changing our names? And absolutely not. Do not change your name. Okay, don't change your name. Don't spam. Don't try to do anything. Google will figure it out eventually. You just got to help them figure it out and just go through the motions there. So they're also having a really nice impact, which we're loving right now, because I cannot tell you how much time we spend in some of the markets that we're in dealing with spam. So we're seeing a really good impact there, that this update is combating a lot of that spam, but the map is smaller and it's showing a little bit more area because it's compacted the map, so more people are showing up. So that also means that more businesses are showing on the map as well. So even though you got the 3 listings over here on the map itself, there's more listings coming up. So that's not bad either.
So when you talk about spam, you're talking about listing spam, right? Like businesses creating fake listings to try to
on the map,
get on the map 15 times.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's it. That is not something that we want done at all.
No, but you're saying this has impacted that by reducing the amount of that.
Yes, which has been
The
great
separate.
because now we're spending our time doing some other things. So I'm just curious if you're on here today and your business has been impacted. I would love to know if it's been impacted or not. Hopefully not. I really prefer that you not be impacted, but you never know. Let's see. Terry, you bet, Terry. Anytime, happy to help when I can. Um, the other thing that I just wanted to make sure that you do is is pay attention to all the new things that are coming out with especially the Google business profile. There's been some things that have been turning on and off. I mean, this is um, Carter works in software, so he understands this, more than me. I want to put out something and it just works. But in software, there's a lot of, there's a thing over here. You hit this thing and it does this other thing and messes everything up. Oh, you got to put that back and then you got to fix that so you can hit it again. And what do they call? I mean, it's beta testing and stuff, and a lot of
Yeah,
them just put it out.
it's iterative. You're constantly, building it, checking it, building it, changing it, building it, checking it, changing it, building it, checking it, changing it.
All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'd love to build stuff that just worked too, but
It's probably true, and I'm sure they wish it would work the first time.
first time, right?
Okay.
That's what I mean. No changes, straight
No
out of the bat.
changes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, make it happen. Wouldn't that be great? So the other thing I wanted to let y'all know is we have 3 trade show passes that we can give away at NCSG in Las Vegas coming up. We've done some sponsorships, and our stuff is already paid for because we're speaking and already in the trade show. So we found out we have 3 passes. So if you are interested in getting one of those 3 passes, please email me at taylor@sparkmarketer.com and I'll save one for you and we'll make that happen. So that's
Cool.
all good stuff. So just remember, Spark Live can now be found as a podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, or your favorite podcast player. I just sound like an announcer when I do that. Next week, we're going to have some more fun. I encourage everybody to come next week. This is really about communication styles. So we are starting a series starting next week in March that really is a series on what every chimney company, HVAC company, plumbing company, electrician company, if you're a home service business company, there are things that you need to have in your business marketing that will make a tremendous, I would say, a tremendous difference in your business if you're not using them. So these next, it's probably, I think I've got 5 in this series. So make sure that you come back next week or catch the replays when these things go out because it's really a fun series, I think, but it's also informative and you're going to learn some things that maybe you didn't realize that you're either doing really, really well or maybe you're not doing so well and can improve on some things to help your business. So marketing communication styles is next week, and I'm right under my 30 minutes. So if we're good, I got another question come in.
Not a question, just a comment.
Just a comment, Mark. Totally understand that, man. Hope you guys are doing well. That's good. Glad to have you back. And guys, thanks again for everything that you do. We absolutely love that you're here. Terry, we'll see you in Las Vegas. I'm actually looking forward to being in the same room with some of you guys and not just over Zoom. So that'll be a lot of fun. So you guys have a great week. We'll see you next week. Talk about marketing communication styles, and y'all have a great one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.